Meanwhile, Israel is all set to hold its fourth election in 2 years, and this comes after the parliament failed to meet its budget deadline. Now, the fourth election brings with it some new players and also new challenges for the incumbent Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who's currently facing arguably the most difficult challenge of his political life. He is the first Israeli Prime Minister, sitting Prime Minister, to be probed on some serious corruption charges. And also his handling of COVID-19 has drawn a lot of flack. Netanyahu, of course, will have to contend with a new rival, Gideon Saar, who defected from the hard right-wing party and is drawing level with Netanyahu in the opinion polls. Now, Israel's last election in March 2020 ended in a bit of a stalemate. Netanyahu and his rival Benny Gantz had agreed to form a unity government, and the two leaders would share the premiership on a rotation basis. And that handover was supposed to take place in November next year. Now, cracks appeared in the alliance just a few months back. The point of contention, of course, was the national budget. Now, analysts say that all of this, of course, is a part of a larger Netanyahu's cynical plan, that he wanted to use the budget to bring down the unity government because he had to cede the seat anyway to Benny Gantz next November. But Netanyahu, of course, would have been hoping for a more favourable date. Now, Israel's fourth election is slated to be held sometime in March 2021, but the Prime Minister would have preferred May or perhaps June so that the vaccination campaign would be in full swing. Now, both Benny Gantz and Netanyahu are blaming each other for bringing the government down. Now, Gantz believes that Netanyahu wants to introduce new laws so that the cases of serious corruption against him could be trounced. The Prime Minister is pinning his hopes on the vaccine. Israel, of course, has placed orders for millions of doses. Whether Netanyahu will benefit from this or not, of course, depends on how soon the vaccination campaign begins. He will also be touting the new peace deals that have been signed with the Arab nations. But one thing that Netanyahu will dearly miss is a pretty staunch ally in the White House. By the time Israel goes for polls, Donald Trump would have left the White House. And Joe Biden will, of course, pursue a pretty favourable policy. He is unlikely to serve as a campaign asset for Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel.
Co-presented by Skoda. Simply clever.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.